Hello! Welcome to Brimwood Farm. I'm Jeff, and it may be January the 6th, but I'm already sowing the first seeds of the coming season. So if you're anything like me, as soon as Christmas has passed and you've arrived in January, you're like, ha! It's spring! Of course it's not. Spring is several months away still. So I have to hold myself back from going too crazy. But there are things you can be sowing at this time of year. Now the main thing you're battling is heat and light. The day levels are short, so you've got very few hours of daylight to get those flowers going. So once the seeds do germinate, you'll often find they become a bit straggly. And that's something I really battle with. So try and hold back on the number of plants you actually germinate, because you'll need sunny windowsills and you'll need to be turning them around often to keep that growth right. The other thing is heat. I wouldn't recommend growing too much inside the house at this time of year, because again, they'll germinate in that warmth and then you'll get these long straggly plants that you can't even put outside because it's too cold. So I use a very simple propagator. It's nothing fancy, it doesn't have an electric dial or thermostat. It just supplies a little bit of bottom heat just to warm the soil up and get those seeds germinated in the first place. And then they'll sit there and they'll grow slowly, and then they'll be potted up in probably a month or 6 weeks, so you can tell that the growth is going to be slow. So I'm doing 3 things today. I'm doing another lot of winter lettuce. I am doing the first lot of flowers for the season, and also thanks to Graham at Graham Kitchen's Garden, he reminded me to get my aubergines on early this year, so I'm going to put a small batch on today and see how they do. So let's get sowing. So the first set of seeds I'm doing are actually a second sowing of this beautiful lettuce here, Winter Gem. You can sow throughout the winter and then you'll harvest them from sort of October onwards, I think, October to May onwards. So they've got quite a long growing period, but you can take off the outer leaves. You don't have to leave them to become the entire lettuce heads like are on this packet. And then the second thing I'm putting in are my aubergines. It was Graham that reminded me I need to do a longer season. These are plants that take a long time to mature. Last year I didn't get any harvest at all because I really waited too long to sow my seeds. So you can put them on here, look, from January through to April. I'm going to put a few on now, get them going, and then hopefully I can actually harvest some aubergine or eggplant wherever in the world you are, and that'll be yummy for later in the year. And then finally, these are the first lot of flowers I'm going to be doing. They're from Dobbies, or Dobies, however you like to say it. Achillea noblessa. Now these aren't like the traditional Achillea you're probably used to seeing with those long flower stems and then at the top the flat head of blooms, lots of blooms clustered together. These are individual double-petaled globe-like flowers that are low growing and a really great little border plant. I'm going to put them in some of the shadier areas. I know they're probably not supposed to go there, but the white will brighten up those areas. So they're the 3 sets of seeds I'm doing today. Now when I'm sowing, I tend to use my butler sink. I tend to fill the butler sink with lukewarm water and put my seed trays in and allow them to soak in the water for maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, just so that the soil is really nice and moist. It's especially important with heated propagators because although they've got the bottom section and it's waterproof and it looks like you can fill it up with water, you really shouldn't, because it will split the plastic at the bottom, it will fuse the electricity and you'll just have a broken propagator. So it's best to get this soil nice and moist to start with, put them in. You can put them in shallow trays if you want, but then again it will take the heat longer to penetrate into the soil. So I put them in without a thing, and then I just use a sprayer and I regularly spray once or twice a day to keep the soil moist. So I will sow in situ in the sink. I will put the lettuces into this tiny modular tray here. I find they work really well, and I'll just put 1 seed per module. And then this, again, I don't want to do too many of these Achillea and aubergine, so I'm going to do half and half in here. So here we are, but why is it whenever you want to actually sow seeds you can't find a dibber? So I'm going to have to use this pencil. So winter lettuces in here, and aubergines and achillea in here. So we will pop into the propagator. Incubator's tomorrow. So you can see I've just covered the winter gem very slightly. The achillea or kilea are absolutely minuscule seeds, as you can see there, the little white dots, and they need light to germinate, so they've just been left on the top. Pop on the top, close the vents just to keep all the moisture in. So there we have it, the first seeds of the season in the soil. And now I know spring is still a couple of months away, but those will start to germinate, and it just gives you a little bit of a boost at the beginning of the year to think, right, I'm going to start this growing season off with gusto. So hopefully those 3 varieties will do really well. Check back with me next week, especially if you want a chicken update. The Silkie chicks have been in the incubator for almost 3 weeks now. So tomorrow the 7th is lockdown, and then the hatch date is the 10th. Monday Magic is the 9th, but we may have some chick action by then because Silkies are bantams, so they do often hatch a little bit earlier. If not, they'll be on next Fridays. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye.